Neil, you want to jump in on this?
Well, I mean, you know, my background is technology. I'm a technologist, and I've been in that field for the last 30 something years. So, yeah, I mean, my I recently sold one business, started two new ones, and the two new ones are virtual. The first one, when I sold it, I couldn't get rid of the lease, so I had an empty building of, you know, 20,000 square feet for 12 months that I had to pay for. My new businesses are all virtual, and you know, part of my development team is in India, et cetera. So again, it's a borderless environment today, and you know, there's a lot that can be done virtually today, and that's just a reality. Um, but you know, there are those who clearly, you know, like salmon, you go out to the ocean when you're young, and then you swim back upstream. And so there are a number of us that may say, you know, again, that we've raised the kids. The kids are off on their own now, and with God's grace, maybe we have another 20 years of productive life or something like that. What can I do with it? I don't have to necessarily work to pay the bills necessarily, but can I contribute? And for many of them, it may be um, heading back home. I know taking my family as an example, two of my aunts, you know, one lived her life in Canada and now she's returned to Guyana. One lived her life in the UK and now she's been living back in Guyana for the last 15 years. So you're going to have that mix, but it doesn't, you know, the model doesn't have to be, you have to be on the ground here. In fact, I think both Nigel and Coach are correct. The majority will look at opportunities to leverage their capabilities virtually.
We can all agree that to move forward and to move this country forward in development, leadership is very important. Um, and Kojo, I want to ask you this question particularly because you know you've traveled a lot, you've lived in many developed nations. How do developed nations utilize their leadership capital?
um, Interesting question. I think one of the things they do is that they encourage that leadership capital to take risk and offer them the reassurance that they're not necessarily going to be penalized harshly if they fail. Because if you do that, then you will discourage people who, and I presume you're speaking primarily about political leadership.
Yes.
Although these comments refer really across the spectrum, because as Neil would probably point out to you, that for developing countries, we need also to develop a cadre of call it industrial type leadership, people who are going to build entities, people who are going to create long-term value. And they're as important as the political leadership, which we generally by default refer to. So we got to provide an environment where people of talent, people who want to take risk, be it in a political space like Nigel, knows he can go back to a promising law practice, okay, once he's made his contribution in the political sphere. The other thing that they do is that they create an operating environment which allows for transparent and fair competition. The rules must be clear, and also the competition, the competing should be as far as possible in full public view, so that so the leadership talent has the best possible chance of displaying their leadership. I think one of the third things that we find with countries or societies which generally use their leadership talent well is that they make it very meritocratic. We can get leadership coming from all parts of, be it Guyana, all social classes, all economic circumstances. And we have to provide mechanisms to be able to spot those fairly early in the piece and encourage and grow them, and really incentivize people to be leaders. Listen, let me make a quick point. One of the most discouraging things to me in my recent visits to Guyana is what it takes to be a leader in Guyana. You have to be driving a big 4x4, which is chewing up the roads. You have to be able to attract the attention of every teenage girl. Okay, you have to be able to spend money recklessly. Those are the kinds of things which are generally presented as being leaders. Be it in business or in politics. You got to go to Palm Court and buy lots of beers and backball. Have women backballing you. Now, that is, for those of us who grew up on the...
At this stage, I'm entering a disclaimer.
Nigel, there are always exceptions to the rule. But I think we can agree that the quality of what it takes to be a leader in Ghana has really, in many ways, changed beyond recognition. And I'm not sure it's changed positively. And I think we have to, we got to encourage a new morality in Ghana. I don't think we can get great leaders. Nigel is a brave man, quite frankly, to enter the political space. But we're not gonna, there are thousands of other people who get discouraged from entering the political space because of what's required to be hailed as a leader.
The last few minutes we have here, I want to ask each of you to make a case to a group of diasporans about either repatriation or some form of contribution. You say we don't have to physically go back, but contributing to Guyana's moving forward. Kojo, you have the cameras on you. Nigel, you want to take that?
No. I just said drop the repatriation. I think the general view here is that you don't physically have to go back.
Right.
Rod's a big man, he did come back. So contribution is probably the one that they should address. I don't wish to go first, though. Go ahead.
I can say something.
Go ahead, Rod.
I've been in the hospitality business all my life, working in the United States and Barbados and in the UK. The Guyanese hospitality industry, is in its infancy, but yet we do have a tremendous amount of people of Guyanese origin in hospitality throughout the diaspora. And I have encountered them time and time again. I'm working right now at the Emirates Stadium for Arsenal Football Club.
Yeah.
Yay. But at the stadium, it's tremendous how many Guyanese I bump into. And I work for a catering organization, and they say, "You're from Guyana? Oh man, I want to go back and see what I can do." And that's just in that area. I was in a hotel at a Radisson the other day. Again, I bumped into Guyanese. So what I'm saying is that let opportunities be known to the diaspora. If there are any, that 20%, and I do agree, majority will not return to live, but maybe that 20% might return or even spread the word. But it's far better than having, I'm not going to mention the hotel, but there is a major hotel in Georgetown right now where their entire executive body, they're all non-Guyanese, all of Latin origin, which is fine, but they've been there well over a year now, and it's time to change. It's time to get Guyanese in place. We can do it. The talent is there. So let's just spread the word that we're open for business. I think this is a new time, a new era. Let's rebrand Guyana. After 23 years of that administration, there's a new sheriff in town.
Let's rebrand Guyana.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, we can. Neil, you want to go next?
Well, I mean, again, I could speak from a personal perspective. As I said, I'm an entrepreneur, and I don't need help in finding opportunities. What I do need are transparent laws and laws that are enforceable, and those fundamental issues. Like I said, I look for a government that's a great cheerleader. So that's where we have that challenge. And I know the current administration seems to be focusing a significant amount of energy in that place. So I'm very encouraged about it, to be honest.
Nigel?
Well, I think the diaspora is critical to the development of Guyana. And I say that if only from the perspective of intellectual contribution. Because Project Guyana is, I think, a project that involves Guyanese. Whether you left in the 60s, 50s, you left last week, Project Guyana needs all the intellectual contribution it can gather. I am very, I think we have an opportunity now to actually start to get it right. So I'm hopeful for that opportunity. I don't think we've gotten it right for 50 years, but we have an opportunity to do it now. Let's grasp it, and it's critical to our development to have the entire discussion involve all Guyanese. I really would like to get rid of the separation between diaspora Guyanese and Guyanese who remain here. I will say that one of the recommendations that I've been proposing is that the diaspora, we'll have to ascertain a basis, actually has representation in Parliament, because they are a critical part of our development, and therefore their voices need to be heard. And even if not at that level, we certainly need to create the fora in which they can contribute. So yes, I am happy that we have an opportunity, and I am praying that we take advantage of it on this occasion.
Are you hopeful, and why?
Well, I mean, we have an opportunity to change the system. We've had 2 long periods of different governments under a system that placed all the power in the executive. We can review our structures. We need to review where it is that we misstepped, what errors of judgment we made in the past, so that we can at least get the framework. It's easy to get an economic framework because all you do is look at the data, analyze, and move forward. But in terms of culture and the politics, that's that's a much harder challenge. And that requires, as Kojo said, trust. That's one of the big elements. But we need to get that right now. Otherwise, we will continue to be corrosive and destructive.
Kojo?
When, and I don't want to repeat the points which were made by my colleagues, which are very critical. For me, one of the key things we need is a clear vision from our political leadership, and not just the government, not just the administration. Our political leadership has to be very clear as to what is it this Project Guyana is. The diaspora, and also we mustn't overplay the importance of the diaspora. Guyana will develop largely and significantly because people in Guyana decide that they want to make things happen. I think the diaspora should be seen as being a support mechanism, a leverage mechanism, not the core engine for development of the country. And therefore, the policies and the vision must start by defining how Guyanese in Guyana can make Guyana work. And as an addition to that, how does the diaspora then add the sorts of talents and perspectives which we can bring to make it work? I think the idea that somewhere or other the diaspora is going to come and create miracles is unrealistic. There needs to be a compelling vision. We need to understand that those of us in the diaspora who want to contribute, quite frankly, you can run as many campaigns as you like. Most of the people in the diaspora who want to help self-select, and they volunteer and they go and start things, people like Neil, okay? But on the ground, there has to be will, there has to be a sense of things happening. Are people going to go back to the US or to Ottawa and simply get on with their lives?
Gentlemen, anybody has anything else to say?
No, I just say, Selwyn, thank you for the opportunity of affording us Guyanese, wherever we are, an opportunity to discuss this, share the ideas. I am sure that your listenership will have views as well. And I want to commend you and thank you for this contribution that you make to Project Guyana.
Thank you.
I concur. Selwyn, this is an important thing that you're doing, and I wish you Godspeed doing it.
Thank you.
Likewise. Let's do it again.
Let's do it again. Gentlemen,
Thanks, Selwyn.
good night. Nice. Kojo, thank you for staying up, brother.
That's fine.
Kojo, it's good to make your acquaintance, and the same, Nigel.
Same here. Kojo, the next time I see you in Palm Court, I'll ask you if you're trying to get some leadership.
I hope I don't see you in Palm Court, Nigel.
Gentlemen, good night.
Okay.
Good night. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care, Ron.
Okay, we'll be talking. See you.
Will do.
Bye.